Welcome to FactNexus, where we dive deep into the world's most astonishing failures and engineering disasters that have left their mark on history. Today, we're exploring 5 jaw-dropping projects that were meant to redefine skylines, power cities, and create financial hubs, but instead turned into massive, costly failures. From skyscrapers that now stand abandoned to billion-dollar bridges that crumbled under nature's force, these stories are not just about broken dreams. They're about financial disasters and engineering blunders that cost billions. Whether it's the towering Golden 117 in China, a bridge that couldn't withstand an earthquake, or an entire city built on sinking ground, each of these projects has one thing in common. They all promised greatness, but ended in catastrophe. Get ready to explore the staggering truth behind these monumental mistakes and how ambition sometimes leads to failure on a colossal scale. Let's dive in. Nuke Gate Power Plant, a $25 billion electrical misfire. South Carolina's Nuke Gate Power Plant project was hailed as a game-changer when construction began in 2008. The plan was to build 2 advanced reactors that would supply electricity to the entire state. The joint project between 2 major firms, electric and gas company and public authorities, was expected to revolutionize energy production. With an initial budget of $9 billion, this mega project was one of the largest in the energy sector. But what should have been a beacon of innovation turned into an engineering disaster of epic proportions. As construction progressed, costs began to skyrocket. What was supposed to be a $9 billion project soon inflated to $10.2 billion, and then, unbelievably, to $25 billion. After years of delays and spiraling expenses, the 2 reactors were finally ready to be tested in 2017. But when they were switched on, nothing happened. The reactors failed to produce any electricity. The operators, baffled, tried to troubleshoot the issue, only to discover that both reactors had critical design flaws that rendered them inoperable. Despite efforts to repair the reactors, the problems persisted for nearly a decade. Each new round of repairs only added to the already exorbitant cost, and yet, the reactors still couldn't generate a single watt of electricity. By the time the companies threw in the towel, they had spent an astronomical $25 billion without any return on investment. The reactors, meant to power an entire state, became nothing more than multi-billion-dollar paperweights. The colossal failure of the Nuke Gate power plant not only drained financial resources, but also shattered public trust in both the companies involved and the government authorities who had backed the project. The operators eventually abandoned the site. The reactors stand as one of the most expensive engineering blunders in history. The Nuke Gate disaster serves as a potent reminder of how even the most well-funded projects can collapse under the weight of poor design, mismanagement, and spiraling costs. It's a sobering example of how easily billions of dollars can vanish into thin air when things go wrong. Ujiapu Financial District, the Manhattan of the East that never was. In 2005, China embarked on one of its most ambitious real estate projects yet, the creation of Ujiapu, a financial district modeled after Manhattan. Spanning 4,000 acres, this project aimed to become China's financial hub, boasting replicas of famous New York landmarks such as the Rockefeller Center and the Twin Towers. Ujiapu was designed to house more than 1 million people and offer the ultimate luxury lifestyle, with high-end apartments, hotels, offices, and even artificial beaches. But while the vision was grand, the reality was far from it. By the time construction wrapped up in 2015, only 20% of the district's buildings were occupied. Apartments in Ujiapu were astronomically expensive, priced far beyond the reach of most Chinese citizens. The target audience, China's wealthiest, simply didn't buy into the project. Meanwhile, those who did purchase property were left regretting their decision, as the area became synonymous with poor infrastructure, flooding, and frequent power outages. By 2017, the Chinese government had halted all further development of the district. The glittering skyscrapers that were supposed to rival Manhattan's skyline now stood empty, slowly decaying. Entire buildings remain unfinished, and the streets that were meant to buzz with economic activity are eerily silent. Ujiapu, once touted as China's financial future, is now widely considered a ghost city. One of the key reasons behind this failure was the sheer expense of the project. With a price tag of $30 billion, the financial district was simply too costly for anyone to afford. Combined with the Chinese government's strict regulations on property investment and the country's economic slowdown, Ujiapu was doomed from the start. This project, which was meant to represent China's economic might, instead became a cautionary tale. Today it stands as one of the largest real estate failures in modern history. A city built for 1 million now houses only a fraction of that number. And the empty streets serve as a reminder of what happens when ambition overtakes practicality. Gao Liu Bridge collapse when earthquakes strike. In August 2018, Taiwan embarked on an ambitious project to connect the remote villagers of Yaoli with the bustling city of Hulun through the construction of the Gao Liu Bridge. This half-kilometer bridge was meant to ease transportation for 15 villages, whose inhabitants had long struggled to cross the treacherous river, separating them from urban centers. The government spent millions and worked for a full year to complete this bridge, intending it to be a lifeline for the region's economy. But despite the meticulous planning, no one could predict the catastrophe that awaited. On September 19, 2022, two massive earthquakes shook the region, reducing the Gao Liu Bridge to a pile of rubble. The disaster wasn't limited to minor structural damage. The bridge completely collapsed, shattering in multiple places. What was once the pride of local engineering now lay in ruins, with no section left intact. The aftermath was shocking. Engineers and architects quickly pointed out that the bridge had no earthquake-resistant design, an essential feature in a region as geologically volatile as Taiwan. Cost-cutting measures had led to substandard supports, and the lack of reinforcement left the bridge vulnerable to even moderate seismic activity. While no lives were lost in the collapse, the financial loss was colossal, as millions were wasted on a structure that couldn't withstand the forces of nature. In the 2 years following the earthquake, the wreckage of Gao Liu Bridge remained untouched, a haunting reminder of what happens when corners are cut. Only recently has reconstruction begun, with even more government funds being poured into the project. This time, the engineers are making sure to incorporate earthquake-proof measures, though it's hard not to wonder why such precautions weren't taken in the first place. This incident is a stark lesson in how ignoring essential safety protocols, particularly in regions prone to natural disasters, can lead to monumental losses, both in money and trust. The Gao Liu Bridge could have been a success story, but instead, it stands as a warning for future infrastructure projects. Golden 117 disaster, the world's tallest abandoned building. Golden 117, a towering symbol of ambition, stands as one of the most jaw-dropping engineering disasters in modern history. Located in Tianjin, China, this 1,957-foot-tall skyscraper was originally designed to be one of the tallest buildings in the world. Construction began in 2008 by Golden Financial, and its futuristic design boasted 128 stories, meant for luxurious apartments, hotels, and commercial spaces. What made this building a marvel were its features: 89 elevators, luxury swimming pools, and opulent living areas. Everything was in place for Golden 117 to redefine the skyline. However, as impressive as the structure was, it soon turned into a nightmare for its developers. In 2015, with the building nearing completion, the Chinese government placed a halt on construction. Unbeknownst to the developers, Chinese law strictly prohibits buildings exceeding 1,640 feet in height. With Golden 117 having surpassed this limit by more than 300 feet, the project was immediately flagged as illegal, and the government imposed hefty fines. From a potential marvel to an abandoned shell, the project was now stuck in limbo. While the building's towering structure still stands, it has never been allowed to open for business. Today, Golden 117 is essentially a ghost skyscraper, holding the Guinness World Record for the tallest abandoned building in the world. The investment of 10 billion yuan, which was supposed to yield massive returns, turned into a devastating financial blow, as the building could not be reconstructed or used in any capacity. The grandeur of the project now stands as a symbol of a small oversight that led to monumental loss. In recent years, the building has gained a strange second life, albeit not the one its developers envisioned. It has become a playground for urban explorers and Chinese daredevils who climb the building illegally, further tarnishing its reputation. The once promising future of Golden 117 has transformed into an icon of architectural failure. It serves as a warning that even the slightest regulatory miscalculation can turn a dream into a disaster. This mistake was not just about a failed project. It was about a financial disaster that nobody saw coming. The loss of billions and the abandonment of such a massive structure have left an indelible mark on the Chinese skyline and the history of engineering. Forest City, Malaysia's $100 billion ghost town. In 2006, Chinese real estate developers set their sights on a massive project in Malaysia, Forest City, a sprawling 74,000-acre utopia designed to be the ultimate urban paradise. The city was meant to cater to the ultra-wealthy, with luxurious high-rise apartments, hotels, beaches, shopping malls, and even man-made islands. The developers poured $100 billion into the project, hoping to attract wealthy buyers from China, who were being priced out of cities like Hong Kong and Shanghai. At first, the plan seemed foolproof. Chinese investors flocked to Forest City, snapping up properties in what was marketed as the future of luxury living. But just as the project was taking off, disaster struck. In 2017, the Chinese government introduced a new law, limiting the amount of money Chinese citizens could spend on overseas investments. Suddenly, buyers who had intended to purchase multi-million-dollar apartments in Forest City were legally barred from doing so. This law change crippled the project almost overnight. What was once a bustling construction site became a ghost town. Although Forest City was designed to accommodate tens of thousands of residents, fewer than 500 actually live there today. Many of the apartments remain unsold, and the once promising future of this luxury metropolis has been left in ruins. To make matters worse, Forest City is plagued by poor infrastructure, and its man-made islands are sinking faster than anticipated due to poor engineering. This has led to a slew of problems, including flooding and power outages, further deterring potential buyers. Today, Forest City is widely regarded as one of the most expensive real estate failures in history, with billions of dollars wasted on a project that was doomed from the start. What was supposed to be the future of luxury living has become a stark reminder that even the best-laid plans can unravel when unforeseen circumstances arise. Forest City stands as a ghostly monument to a $100 billion gamble gone wrong. These 5 engineering disasters highlight how ambition, mismanagement, and unforeseen challenges can lead to colossal failures.